The Ubisoft subscription director has said that gamers are now comfortable with not owning their games, which is to an extent true. I mean, you buy pretty much everything digitally, which you don't own, but I'd also say that's the worst time to say that because I'd say physical copies of stuff has taken a huge upswing recently. It's like when Best Buy pulled out Blu-rays from the stores, but like that's right when they started picking up popularity again. Like, I don't get it, but that's what they did. It feels like they're kind of doing the same thing with this, and saying that people are comfortable not owning games now. And I mean, of course, the reason I'm talking about this is because it pissed everybody off. Like, Ubisoft, out of all companies, saying gamers are comfortable not owning their games now is a huge red flag. Ubisoft is probably one of the most money-hungry, grubbing companies to ever exist that makes games. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that they're even still really around, because I can't think of, like, a single game that they've made recently that people, like, really enjoyed. Like, they've made a lot of games, but like games people really enjoyed, it's not many. Like, people liked The Crew and then they ruined it, and people liked Assassin's Creed before they ruined it. And I've heard that Assassin's Creed Odyssey is good, and I just can't get into it. If you like that game, good on you, but I don't get how you like that game. That game is empty. It's the same formula of every Ubisoft game, and it makes you want to blow my brains out. Like, it's literally just, hey, there's this tower, and you had to climb it to see more of the map. And it's just that over and over and over again. And I could be wrong because I haven't played this game in a while, but isn't that just the formula of that game? You run around, you climb towers, you discover parts of the map, but now there's crafting. But the kicker is, it's going to be different variations of the same weapon, and some are slightly better. Isn't that just what that game is? I don't know how people liked it that much. And also, is it really Assassin's Creed at that point? Is it really? The last good Assassin's Creed game was Black Flag, and that's just because I like flintlock pistols and I like being a pirate, okay? That opinion is correct, and if you disagree, you're wrong. You're wrong. That's all there is to it. You're wrong. But Ubisoft talking about gamers being comfortable with subscription services and not owning games is like not that crazy. This makes total sense. I will also say subscription services in general for games are a pretty good deal right now, like Xbox Game Pass especially. But keep in mind, folks, this is exactly what happened with Netflix, all right? Everyone was like, oh yeah, Netflix is a great deal. You get all these shows for $10 a month and you get everything. And then everyone started making their own subscription service. And everyone wanted, you know, $10, $20 a month for it. And now we're just back to having cable. And this is exactly what's gonna happen again. You're gonna be paying like $200 a month just to play games. Now, I don't know when that's going to happen. And I don't know if it's going to actually get as high as like $200 a month. But these companies are going to see Xbox Game Pass doing really well, and they're going to want a piece of the pie. That is exactly what Ubisoft did with making Ubisoft Plus. And to be honest, I really don't know why people are subscribing to Ubisoft Plus. I'm going to be real, guys. Like, you get Ubisoft games, all like 3 of the good ones. Oh, and I guess you get Blizzard games, all 0 of the good ones. And all these companies would much rather have you not own games at all, because having reoccurring monthly subscriptions is a huge benefit to these companies. Because if they make a game, they just get a one-time purchase, right? But if it's subscription-based, they get almost this guaranteed source of income every single month for doing nothing different. And over time, you're probably gonna make them more money than if you would have just bought their games. That's the whole point of this. They wouldn't do this if it wasn't going to make them more money. Why else would they do it? The subscriptions director also said this: the point is to not force users to go down one route or the other, he explains. We offer a purchase, we offer a subscription, and it's the gamer's preference that is important here. We are seeing people who buy choosing to subscribe now, but it all works. Here's the thing with the subscription service model. People are not going to get upset until they start pulling a bunch of games. And then once they pull a bunch of games, no one's going to want this product anymore. But by that point, everyone will be on a subscription and they won't sell you the game anymore. I'm being a little hyperbolic with this because we are nowhere near subscriptions being like the only option, but we're getting closer. And that is not an exaggeration. We are getting closer to that. And personally, I just like buying a thing and then not thinking about it more. I already have enough subscriptions. I don't need more subscriptions. Personally, I hate subscribing to stuff because most of the time, it's like you can't even cancel easily. It is absurd that I can go online and buy something in like 4 clicks, and then to unsubscribe from it or cancel the service, I have to go in person or call or mail a letter. Gyms are the worst offender of this, but so are like telecom companies. They also do this, and it's really irritating. And I imagine that Ubisoft won't make you mail in a letter, but they'll probably make it like a 20-step process on canceling. That's what I expect. The internet definitely blew this article out of proportion and these quotes out of proportion. It's not the end of the world, but I see why people freaked out because it is Ubisoft, and Ubisoft is known for one thing, and it's being EA Junior, okay? That company is just EA, but they make worse games. Like, that's all they are. Like, Rainbow Six Siege is pretty good, I guess, if you like hating your life. From who I've talked to, Rainbow Six Siege players have the same problem as League of Legends players, which is none of them really like the game. They are just stuck, and they can't leave. I swear, there's like 3 games that people talk about like it's a drug, and it's League of Legends, Overwatch. I don't know what it is about these games, but people play them and they talk about it like it's an addiction afterwards, like a drug addiction afterwards. But I don't think Ubisoft is going to be like a leading force in the change to like a subscription model if it happens in the broader gaming community, because Ubisoft just doesn't have that much power. As I said earlier, they just don't make good games. Like, if this was Nintendo, it'd be a lot more worrying because Nintendo actually has the pull to be able to make this move along a lot faster. But Ubisoft, on the other hand, is Ubisoft. No one really respects Ubisoft as a company. I think it's just kind of a meme company at this point. Like, whenever Ubisoft releases a game, everyone's just like, man, I can't wait for Far Cry 12 because every game is just a Far Cry with a different skin. Like, seriously, they peaked with Far Cry 3 and they're like, we're gonna make every game like this one, guys. Aren't you excited? But Ubisoft is not the trendsetter here. They're not going to accelerate this at all. It is definitely Microsoft that is doing that. Ubisoft is just following in Microsoft's footsteps. And honestly, I'd be pretty confident in saying that Microsoft has had this discussion in closed doors before, like a very similar one to Ubisoft. I am sure they've talked about this, being like, yeah, gamers don't want to own games anymore. They're totally cool with just buying our subscription. And that's really good for our revenue because the subscription service is really good for our revenue. Like, Phil Spencer, he's not sitting in the boardroom like, okay, guys, we need to fight for gamers here today. We need to make sure these gamers don't get screwed. Phil Spencer is not our friend. Okay, guys? Todd Howard and Phil Spencer are friends, and both of them are not our friends. Both of them hate us. If Todd Howard was our friend, he'd stop lying to us every time he stepped foot on a stage, dude. Like, seriously, I don't know how he does it. It's actually impressive. He'll go on stage and he'll confidently tell you that Fallout 76 is the best Fallout game they have ever made, and it looks the best Fallout ever has, and that it runs great, and there's no problems with it. He'll tell this to your face. He'll stand on stage and look down at you in the crowd, look into your eyes, and tell all of this to you. And then the game will release, and all of it will be lies. Every single thing he told you is just not true. And somehow, he always gets away with it. Nobody actually really cares. Like, I will even watch E3 and be like, man, how does he get away with it? And it's because we just keep letting him. But anyways, and personally, I do not own Game Pass, and I do not own Ubisoft Plus, and I don't think I will ever buy Ubisoft Plus. Game Pass, I might buy, but Ubisoft Plus, I will never buy Ubisoft Plus. And if I do, put me in this thing. If you're watching the video, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it, but put me in this, okay? Just put me in this and let it fall. Let it go. But statistically speaking, at least one of you have Game Pass, and maybe one of you have Ubisoft Plus, so tell me what you think about it down in the comments below. And like and subscribe if you're new, and click the end screens down to check out more of my content, and check out my Twitter at Spattins1 if you want to see some, like, garbage. And have a good one!